The car hummed quietly beneath us, but my mind roared with 1,000 unanswered questions. I stared out the window, watching the city blur into shadows and lights. Everything felt unreal, like I was outside my own body, watching someone else's life play out. I couldn't stop replaying what had just happened. I had always known my father as an unmovable force. People bowed to him, their fear palpable. I had grown up watching men cower before him, their words coded in false charm, their hands trembling behind their backs. No one dared to stand against him. No one except Kai. My father's arrogance had finally met its match, and I had stood there, too stunned to process it in the moment. Kai hadn't just defied him, he'd crushed him. And not just with his fists, but with his sheer presence. He was unshakable, untouchable, and terrifyingly powerful. And me? I had never retaliated. Never even raised my voice, let alone stood my ground. But tonight, I had walked out of that house with another man. I glanced down at our hands. My fingers were still wrapped tightly around his. When had I grabbed him? Had it been when the guards surrounded us? Or when he dared them to shoot him and made it look like he welcomed the challenge? The car slowed, and Kai leaned toward me, his voice soft yet commanding. "We're here." That's when I realized I was still clutching his hand. I released it like it had burned me, pulling away awkwardly. "Sorry," I muttered, looking anywhere but at him. He didn't respond, stepping out of the car instead. I watched as he rounded to my side, opening my door with that unrelenting air of control. He extended his hand, and for a moment, I hesitated before taking it. The chapel stood in front of us, a simple stone building bathed in the moonlight. Its stained glass windows glowed faintly, casting colorful reflections on the ground. Nervousness crawled up my spine. My grip on Kai's arm tightened as I stared at the building. I was getting married. The thought hit me like a freight train. My palms felt clammy, and my breath quickened. This wasn't how I imagined it. No family, no friends, no grand celebration. Just an empty chapel and a man I barely understood. But then another thought grounded me. I was leaving Denver behind. My father. The suffocating expectations. The endless fear. Leyla. I looked up to see Liam standing beside us, his ever-casual smile lighting up his face. He held out a bouquet of white roses. "For the sake of normalcy," he joked, winking. A small smile tugged at my lips despite the storm inside me. I took the bouquet, grateful for the gesture. "Ready?" Kai asked, his voice steady and calm. Was I? No. But I nodded anyway, my fingers still gripping his arm as we walked into the chapel. The inside was quiet, almost reverent. The only other person present was the officiant, standing by the altar, bathed in the soft glow of the stained glass window. Each step down the aisle felt surreal. My heart pounded, my nerves twisting tighter with every beat. This was it. My wedding. When we reached the altar, the officiant smiled kindly, beginning the ceremony. I barely registered his words, my focus darting between the man beside me and the storm brewing in my chest. "Do you, Malachi Eduardo DeSantis, take this woman to be your wedded wife?" I held my breath, my chest tightening, as Kai turned to look at me. His dark eyes met mine, and a slow, teasing smirk curled on his lips. He was completely aware of my nervousness, and he was enjoying it. "I do," he said, his voice smooth and unyielding. The officiant turned to me. "And do you, Leyla Castra, take this man to be your wedded husband?" I exhaled shakily, feeling the weight of everything. My past, my present, my future. "I do." The words were quiet but firm, sealing my fate. "I pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss your bride." I froze, every nerve in my body sparking to life as Kai stepped closer. His hand slid around my waist, pulling me against him with a possessive strength that sent a shiver down my spine. His other hand cupped the back of my neck, tilting my face up to meet his. And then he kissed me. It wasn't just a kiss, it was a claim. His lips moved over mine with a confidence that stole my breath, demanding and giving all at once. The heat of it spread through me like wildfire, igniting every inch of my body. My knees felt weak, my fingers clutching his jacket for support as the world around us blurred. His grip on my nape tightened, grounding me even as my mind spun. There was nothing gentle about the way he kissed me. It was raw, powerful, and completely consuming. I felt it down to my toes, a tingling sensation that left me dizzy. When he finally pulled back, I struggled to catch my breath, my lips tingling and my heart racing. Kai leaned in, his mouth brushing my ear as he whispered, "Welcome to my world, Bella." A shiver ran down my spine at his words, the dark promise in his tone lingering long after he pulled away. The ceremony was over, but the emotions lingered, swirling in my chest like a storm. As we turned to leave the altar, my arms still tucked securely in Kai's, the weight of everything, our marriage, my defiance, the life I was leaving behind, pressed on me like a heavy cloak. We had barely stepped onto the aisle when Liam appeared, a mischievous grin plastered across his face. "Hold it right there, newlyweds," he said, holding up his phone like a weapon. Kai sighed audibly, his jaw tightening. "Liam, I am really not in the mood." "Nope, I don't want to hear it," Liam interrupted, stepping in front of us. "You know Nikos is going to kill me if I don't have pictures." And he waved the phone dramatically. "These are memories. You'll thank me later." Kai looked at him, his expression flat. "I won't." Liam chuckled, undeterred. "Say that after I send you the best ones. Now, stand still and look like you're at least a little happy about your wedding." Kai shook his head, muttering something under his breath, but he straightened up. Meanwhile, I tried to muster a polite smile, though it felt awkward and forced. Liam positioned himself like a professional photographer, crouching and moving side to side. "All right, Leyla, give me a soft smile. Yes, perfect. Kai, maybe try not to look like you're at a funeral." Kai raised a brow at him, his expression unchanged. "Okay, serious it is," Liam said, clicking away with exaggerated flair. "Now, Leyla, tilt your head a little to the left. Kai, hands out of your pockets, this isn't a mob deal." Ironic that it actually was. Despite myself, a small laugh escaped, and I felt my shoulders relax. "There it is," Liam exclaimed, grinning. "Keep smiling, Leyla, gorgeous." "Kai, you're doing great, buddy. Just keep standing there looking intimidating." I giggled then, unable to help it. Liam's over-the-top antics cut through the tension like sunlight through storm clouds. And that's when I felt it, Kai's gaze. I glanced up at him, and the world seemed to slow. His dark eyes weren't narrowed in irritation or smoldering with anger, like I was used to. Instead, they were soft, almost warm, and they were focused entirely on me. My breath hitched. Heat rushed to my cheeks, and I quickly looked away, my heart thudding wildly. Behind me, I heard Kai chuckle, a deep, low sound filled with knowing amusement. He enjoyed this too much. All right, Kai finally said, his voice edged with impatience. "That's enough. 2 more. Liam protested, snapping a few final pictures as Kai turned and began walking toward the door. I followed a step behind, Liam falling in beside me, already swiping through the photos. "Let's see the masterpiece," Liam said, holding the phone between us. The first picture made me laugh softly. Kai stood rigid, his face a mask of sheer boredom, while I wore a stiff, awkward smile. "Wow, really capturing the romance here," Liam joked, swiping to the next one. In the following photos, I saw my smile start to grow, recalling Liam's ridiculous instructions. By the time he took the last few, I was grinning openly, my nerves replaced by genuine amusement. It was the next photo that made me gasp. There I was, smiling brightly, but it wasn't me who caught my attention, it was Kai. His gaze was angled downward, his eyes fixed on me. His usual hardened expression had softened, his lips slightly curved in something that wasn't quite a smile, but wasn't far from it either. And the final photo, we were looking at each other. My grin was still there, wide and carefree, while his expression held a quiet intensity. There was something almost tender in the way he looked at me, something that made my heart leap into my throat. I pressed my lips together, trying to contain the grin threatening to spread across my face again. See, Liam said, nudging me lightly. I told you, memories. I didn't respond, too caught up in the strange flutter in my chest as I stared at that last picture. Kai's voice cut through my thoughts. Are you coming, or are you planning to stay here all night? I looked up to see him waiting by the car, his hands casually in his pockets. His gaze met mine briefly before shifting to Liam with an annoyed arch of his brow. I handed Liam back his phone, falling into step behind Kai as he opened the car door. But my mind stayed on the pictures, my thoughts swirling with feelings I wasn't ready to name. As I climbed into the car, I caught myself smiling again, the image of his soft gaze still lingering in my mind.